The presenting sponsor of Moontower Soccer is FVF Law.
To find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm, you can visit fvf.law.
Hello, friends, and welcome to SWOONTOWER Soccer. I'm Steph Cragnola.
And I'm Mike Cragnola.
And today we are all about the boys. We are so excited to be talking to Gina Miller at the start to do our Dallas opponent spotlight. And then we will get into our Matchscots, our fit checks, our Celly ratings, and social media standouts, as well as wrapping up with the man of my jersey. But before that exciting announcement, we're so excited to have Gina Miller here. She's a lifelong sportscaster, TV host, and traveler. She's currently the vice president of media and communications for FC Dallas and has hosted pre- and post-game shows for every team in the Metroplex. Gina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. And I'm glad we can make this work because we tried to do this earlier in the year and we just couldn't make it work from a timing perspective, and spam filters got involved and all the things. But I'm glad to be able to do this with you guys today.
Yeah. And
Us too.
Something I'm really excited about is like collecting different perspectives from different people around the league with their teams, right? We get to play Dallas 3 times this year. And so having you on, having Steve on, and then who knows who our third guest will be, it helps kind of frame the context of the season a little bit differently. So thank you.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And there's so much as it relates to these two teams throughout the course of a season. Copa Tejas, Houston's on the periphery. I mean, there's so much when you talk about the Texas teams, which makes this such a cool MLS version of the Texas Triangle.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you brought up Copa Tejas, by the way. Is it as important to y'all, before we get into the real questions, is it as
This is the real one.
Yeah, this is honestly, we're starting out strong.
Yeah, we're starting with the hottest one, right? As someone who is involved in the front office operations of FC Dallas, is it as something that is as important to y'all as it is to fans of the team here in Austin? I know for us, I mean, we're so new, but this is our one piece.
and I get it from the Austin perspective, right? Because you are so new and you want to develop those rivalries, and games are more important when you're playing your rivals. When the Mavs and Spurs used to play each other in the 2010 heydays, and it was Dirk versus Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker and Steve Nash and Jet Terry. I mean, that was the best, right? It was that I-35 rivalry that was so good. I think the equity in the Texas Derby between Houston and FC Dallas probably makes it a bit more meaningful for both clubs. I certainly cannot speak for Houston, right? But I know Houston hates Dallas. I know that. I went to college in Houston. I know Houston hates Dallas. But along the same lines, we want to win Copa Tejas. That's important for us. That is important for FC Dallas. It's important for our fans, our ownership, our front office. It's a very important badge of honor for us when you go throughout a season. But just from an equity standpoint and length of rivalry, and who's been around a little bit longer, it's easier to have that affinity for that history of the rivalry between Dallas and Houston. I think from a fan perspective, even from a player perspective, right? You have FC Dallas homegrowns who have grown up with this "we got to beat Houston" mindset. From an academy perspective, when they were in the academy, you talk to Paxton Pomykal, who's currently out for the season after undergoing season-ending surgery. He'll tell you to a person, "I want to beat Houston." But he grew up in Dallas, so he also wants to beat Austin too. We're proud North Texans here. So we like to beat all of our in-state rivals.
Yeah, we, for us, especially in the academy system, it's like, FC Dallas is the high watermark, right? Of if we can play well against FC Dallas, it speaks volumes to our academies. And so I know from the Austin fan perspective, that's our measuring stick of like, well, how do we do against North Texas? And so I'm excited for that to be one day the primary rivalry for y'all as well.
And I'll tell you this, I think, and I have a unique perspective, obviously, because we play a lot of the MLS club's academy teams. And I see that from a lot of opposing teams like RSL, right? We're kind of in that homegrown race between RSL, who's signed the most homegrowns in Major League Soccer. And really between Real Salt Lake and FC Dallas, it's just it's a race, and one keeps getting ahead of the other every other month or so, or every other couple of months or so. So I think a lot of MLS clubs' academies feel that exact same way. But the Texas rivalry is so real, and what it's building going into year 3 or 4 of Copa Tejas, and the playoff matches that we played against each other 2 years ago. I mean, it's so meaningful. This rivalry that is burgeoning between Dallas and Austin.
And I mean, this is kind of jumping ahead in our schedule a little bit, talking about this weekend, but we noticed, I mean, we did not start this season out strong, and it really was Dallas that finally it looked like something was happening, or someone really cared about winning. And I don't know if you noticed that with Austin as well, but for us, it's always like, all right, finally, we've got an in-state match happening. We know they're going to fight.
And I'll be real candid with you. I when I look at the standings, you kind of know who's always consistently up top, right? But I always look at the Texas teams. What are Dallas and Houston doing? And it is no secret that FC Dallas has not performed the way it would like to have performed to start the season. And I think I speak for a lot of people, and those losses to in-state rivals really hurt. Every loss hurt, every loss stings. But, against a team, particularly like Austin, that you're going to see 3 times this year, and then we're going to see Houston. I mean, we got a couple of derby runs coming up here, because we're going to Houston next Saturday, the 18th, after we play Austin at Toyota Stadium on the 11th. And it's just a run of Texas teams. And to look at the standings, it's been a little tough, not gonna lie. And then that's where I go. That's automatically where I go. See where Houston is, see where Austin is.
And where I think May is a really interesting month for Copa Tejas. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about it, but like it could be, depending on what happens, it could be wrapped up by the middle of the month. I
mean, which I as a fan, I love to see things come down to the wire. I think when you work for the team, or you're a part of the team, you just want to dominate, right? But as a fan, you want it to go down to the wire, and then nail that final nail in the coffin in the last second of the match, of the game, whatever it is. You love that. Now, if you work for a team and it happens that way and it goes in your favor, that's great. And that's a different story. But I personally, I would love it if Copa Tejas was not wrapped up.
That makes sense.
I love
early
that,
in
like,
the season. I'm just going to be real candid here.
Talk about nailing the nail in the coffin at that last second. Last year's Dallas, our last Copa Tejas match with Dallas. Oh my gosh. I had just had foot surgery. We put a mattress in the back of the car so we could drive up and sit in there. And then in the last, seconds to lose that match was, I thought I was in pain from surgery. And I didn't even think about my foot after that. I might as well not have been on my leg.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that support. And that's the great thing. I mean, that's why soccer is so different. It's so unique. You got to be there for the visiting team, or you got to be there for the opposing team on the road. It's what's so unique and makes it so great. And then it's why I think the Texas rivalries are so uniquely different. It's a long drive from San Jose to LA. Right. I mean, it's a long drive. Now, New York's a different story. It's just a subway ride, or a path train to Jersey back and forth. But, Texas, you can make a day trip out of it. My staff will drive, my crew will drive down day of and drive back that night. Or we all went to college in these towns. So, I have guys on my team who'll drive down, spend the night with fraternity brothers after the match, and all their guys came to the match, spend the night, and then come back up the next morning or something along those lines. But I think, to your point, Stephanie, just you driving with the pad in the back of the truck, that's what makes these games and this sport and this league so great.
Yeah. Driving away, watching the Star Wars drone show from the back of the car, like just
even better.
Yeah.
So I do want to jump in a little bit to talk about the national narrative that's developing around FC Dallas this year. Personally, I saw y'all's list of signings in the offseason, and I was terrified. I thought this is going to be a team that's a top 4 in the West team. And then the injuries started happening and things just don't seem to be clicking. And I mean, Matthew Doyle didn't pull any punches in his
He
match
never does
day.
with us. It's okay, but it's okay. I don't
I was
mean,
gonna say,
it
yeah,
doesn't
his
matter.
match
It's
day
okay.
11
Good, I like it.
kind of vibes on this team are really low. And so between him and Joe Lowry saying that currently, y'all aren't meeting expectations, which I think it might be the most polite way to say it, right?
And
Does
he's
that
not
match the local vibe?
Oh, I think that's an accurate assessment, not meeting expectations. Anybody in the front office, anybody on the team, they will tell you that. FC Dallas goes out and signs Petr Musa, a Croatian national team player from Benfica. And I've talked to the guy, I've met the guy, and I'm about 6 feet tall. He towers over me. He's a big guy, and he can run, and he is a striker. He's obviously our leading scorer now with 3 goals on the season, but he will tell you that's a disappointment. Going into match day 12, you expect to have a little bit more offense than 10 goals in 2024. And that's just a fact, right? I don't think anybody on this club would look at you and say, we're hitting the mark that we had anticipated we would hit. I mean, plainly put.
Yeah.
I would love to get some perspective on the bright spots, because we can look at your form, we can look at all of the stats, but what are you seeing that are positive signals that we just kind of watching the matches and seeing the score lines aren't picking up on?
Well, I love that I'm seeing Alan Velasco in rehab.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get Alan Velasco, Giovanni Jesus back. Both had really tough ACL injuries. Velasco in the playoff series against Seattle last year, and Jesus in training last season. Both are mid to late season returns is what we're forecasting, but they're at the stadium every single day training. And I've seen this in sports throughout my entire career. Guys get injured, they train at this incredible level, come back fitter, faster, stronger than ever before. We saw it with Tariq Scott, who tore his ACL in preseason last year in Marbella, Spain. He's currently training with North Texas SC right now, our MLS Next Pro side. Put on, 5 to 10 pounds, and I'd be inaccurate to quote the exact amount of real solid muscle on what was a very lean frame, not too much muscle, and he's having an incredible run in North Texas. So we just see that. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about Martin Paz, and I've told this to people in the past that I felt, FC Dallas was so stingy defensively last year. Second fewest goals allowed in the West. My memory is escaping me. Maybe it was the fewest in the West, second fewest overall. It was something ridiculous like that. But one of my biggest failures last year was not getting Martin Paz to the MLS All-Star game last season, because nobody would have appreciated the opportunity more, because he's so affable and he's so much fun. He's just such a good guy. But what he's able to do with some challenges in front of him is really remarkable. FC Dallas has given up 15 goals this season. Again, that's more than we would have liked at this point in the season. There's no question about that. But a guy like Martin Paz, our goalkeeper, who just got his Indonesian passport last week, traveled to Indonesia, which is a crazy story in and of itself. He's a Dutch national, but got his Indonesian passport. Seeing him and his resilience and his attitude is really impressive, really remarkable. And then just you look at guys like Paul Arriola and who's been around the league, played in Liga MX, who just gets it, who's a good captain, a good locker room kind of guy, somebody who is always one to step it up. Martin's the same way too. Always will step it up in front of the microphone after a match, good or bad. I always say this to people. When I was a reporter, I respected the heck out of guys I appreciated the heck out of guys who always came to the microphone after a match or a game after a win, even more so after a loss or something tough. And those are the kind of guys who do that. Omar Gonzalez, the Dallas guy, who, sort of an MLS journeyman. He's from Oak Cliff, a beautiful, old, one of the original suburbs here in Dallas. He's so excited to be home, to be back in North Texas. And he's an incredible leader, incredible locker room guy who's really helping the team, perhaps go through what is a tough time. And I think a perspective like his can really help this team during what's been a tough stretch for us.
Yeah.
So those are some positives. Those are some
Welcome-
positives.
Welcome to
A lot of intangibles.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome to having a goalkeeper who, despite giving up a lot of goals, is still one of the best in the league and
He's
does
great.
not get the credit for it.
Yeah.
He's great.
So-
We're on it this year. We have Indonesia behind us this year.
Good luck, though. I mean, we've been trying with
Yeah.
Brad Stuver for
Yeah.
going on 4 years now, and same sort of situation. At least this year, our defense is starting to do the work to get him noticed. And so,
Yeah. And Brad seems like another good guy too. Seems like a
Great
great
guy.
guy. Yeah.
yeah, we're super lucky to have him in the
Yeah.
community. Does a lot of work.
Yeah.
So a couple other players you hadn't mentioned that I wanted to check in on, because last time we talked to Steve, these folks were injured and they're coming back now. So I'd love to hear what y'all are looking for from Jesus Ferreira and Mendy.
Aussie. We call him Aussie. We call him
Nice.
Aussie. Aussie. It's a lot easier for people.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I mean, he is such a game changer when he is in the lineup and healthy. You saw in the opener, Aussie scores a goal, FC Dallas wins. It just and obviously it's not that simple, right? We
No,
get
of
it,
course,
but
yeah.
but what he's able to create in the midfield, his veteran leadership, veteran experience, it's remarkable. And he's just, again, another one of my favorite guys. Had some injury challenges, and he's a little bit older, right?
Mhm.
Mid-30s, which makes it, I'm approaching a very big number here. It makes it a little bit more difficult to recover from those types of injuries, those twingy injuries that can be a little bit challenging. And Jesus Ferreira, I'm going to be real simple here. There are two things you want to see from him: stay healthy, score goals.
Mhm.
Stay healthy, score goals. It's so simple. He's been so prolific throughout his career, but to start the season off injured the way he has, I think it's been a little bit of a challenge for him.
Yeah. So looking at that, what are some of the keys to beating Austin this weekend? If you're looking to extend Copa Tejas out as long as possible, right to the end, how is Dallas doing that this weekend?
This isn't going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're a team who needs to find the back of the net. Offensively, we've just not been able to do what we need to do. Plainly put, I mean, we've had too many games where there have been too few goals. And it's a very simple thing to say when you have 2 wins on the season, but we have to find offense. We have, Petr Musa has 3 goals on the season. The rest of the team, nobody has more than 1. You just cannot have that. You have 5 other guys. Finally do the math there. 6 other guys with just a goal on the season. And you can't. You can't. We need more offense. We really do. I think defensively, there have been some challenges this year, but I like what Nico Estevez, how he tweaks and he adjusts. But offensively, I think is where we need to focus.
Yeah. Scoring, it does sound so easy.
It's so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, coming from a team that supports a coach with a similar,
Very similar,
similar play style, right? And
Very
similar
similar.
problems in the past.
Very similar.
Something
Similar
that we
DNA too.
Yeah.
Similar DNA. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, their whole careers coming up under the Berhalter school and everything. One of the things that we noticed last year is that without that backline consistency, it was really hard to get the ball into the final third, right? Without the patterns of play and the buildup that you're used to, it seemed like we struggled finding those grooves. Is that something that FC Dallas is also struggling with?
I alluded to it a second ago, Nico Estevez has tinkered a lot this season. I think that's something that you see when you're not performing at the level that you expect. Going back to what we all said originally, no one's living really up to the expectation here. I think FC Dallas is at the point where just find a way. Busca la forma was our mantra for quite some time under current Orlando City head coach Oscar Pareja. He was our coach. He was our academy director. He was our coach here for quite some time. We won Open Cup under Oscar Pareja. And you would see written on our walls throughout the building, Busca la forma, just find a way. And I can't say too much here. I'm just going to be real candid. There's only so much somebody who works for the team can say.
Of course.
Of course.
I know that Nico Estevez is working diligently with his staff to find ways to address some of the challenges that he's seen this season, that we've all seen this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because we also, in reading everything that's online, right, there's a lot of pressure on him right now. And so is that pressure, and again, is that pressure that is both external and internal to the club?
I think anybody who works for a living puts pressure on themselves,
Sure.
right? Whether it's pressure to perform well on a podcast, whether pressure to perform well in a post-game press conference or a speaking engagement, or even coding something for your next project. I think there's always pressure to perform well. And certainly working in sports when the expectation is to win. I think nobody puts more pressure, or nobody has a higher expectation than Nico Estevez. I know that. I know him,
Yeah.
and I think the world of him as a coach, as a man, as a father, as a colleague. I mean, we work together. We work very closely together on the media side, because we have to have tough conversations and plan for press conferences and plan for questions and things of that nature, and celebrate victories together, all the good things that come with working in sports. But I certainly think he holds himself to a very high standard, coming up through the Berhalter Columbus Crew system, just like Josh Wolf did. I think they hold themselves to very high standards. So I certainly think that he has an expectation of himself that's probably higher than any of us have of him.
Yeah. What's the temperature like in the fans in the stadium? What are we looking at in terms of support, staying consistent, or how are folks reacting to this season?
We're tracking towards the sellouts. We've sold out every single game to start the season here at Toyota Stadium. We're tracking towards a sellout versus Austin on Saturday, which is great. I mean, we're really looking forward to that. We've had a great start of the season from a fan-facing perspective, with fans coming to the game and supporting the team. But I'll be honest, it's hot. Yeah. It's hot, and it's we're in May, and it's high of 80. And that's a cold front in North Texas. You guys know that. You're in Austin. Yeah. But it's hot, and fans are certainly, there is some frustration there. I certainly sense that. And I think anybody would be naive to say that they don't sense and feel some sort of fan sentiment that is a frustrated one.
Yeah. I love that y'all are trending towards sellouts. The more butts in seats for every match, like home, away, the more people come in to see these soccer games. It's just so heartening to see those trends.
It's good for the whole league, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's good for every team. And Austin does such an amazing job. I mean, it's a beautiful stadium at Q2 Stadium. The supporters do a wonderful job. It's a great club space down there, great seating space upstairs. I mean, it's just a really good experience. Yeah. And, as one of the older stadiums in Major League Soccer, we're so excited that fans are appreciating what we have there at Toyota Stadium. There's not a bad seat in the house, the way it's constructed, it's really a little bit steep and built into the ground. So it's a good seating experience, whether you're pitch side or you're at the very top row. You really can have that intimate, cool experience. It's a little bit more difficult to replicate with these newer stadiums, but Q2 is, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
I am ready for the National Hall of Fame to be open on game day. I'm just putting that out there.
No. It's open in the mornings. It closes because there are some operational things that need to take place.
Of course.
Open for,
I just, one day, I want to pull in.
We'll have to do an early.
For sure. We were fresh off a Hall of Fame induction weekend this past weekend as the taping of this. We kind of a little sleep deprived and a little loopy because it's a pretty long run of no sleep with media availabilities with the inductees. This year in 2024, we honored and enshrined Tim Howard, Josh McKinney, the first extended national team member and Paralympian to go into the National Soccer Hall of Fame, Tisha Venturini-Hoke, and then Francisco Marcos as a builder. And it was an amazing weekend, great experience, all the good things. It was great, but a little sleep deprived. It was a Monday today, not gonna lie.
Right.
Congrats on that. And that kind of leads into our last question is, how did you get to where you are? Are you a lifelong sports fan, soccer specifically? How did you work yourself up to the position you have?
I was a basketball player. I was a basketball, volleyball, played it all. I went to a small private school here in Dallas where you could play everything. I mean, you could do anything, play everything.
Four-season athlete.
Yeah. But from about the age of 14 on, too tall and not speedy enough to play soccer at all. My daughter plays soccer and I have to get her to soccer practice here in a second. But she's tall and she's so much more athletic than I am. But knew that I wanted to talk about sports for a living from about the age of 14 on. I really wanted to be the Dallas Mavericks color analyst. And at that time, there were no women doing this for a living. None. I mean, it was just as the 90s. And there were former beauty pageant winners who went on to be studio personalities in sports programming, which is fine. I mean, they broke the mold for a lot of people, but there were no maybe a bit of an extreme, but in Dallas, there just weren't a lot of female sportscasters to model nationally or locally. But long story short, went to college in Houston, got a job with the Houston Rockets as an intern during the second season. They won a championship, the 94-95 season, won a ring with the Rockets, Clyde Drexler, Akeem Olajuwon. I mean, it was amazing. Sam Cassell, amazing. Parlayed that into a job. Always wanted to be on camera as a sportscaster. Parlayed that to a job as a producer at the CBS station, parlayed that into a job, my first on-air full-time job in Guam at KUAM TV as the sports director in Guam. Didn't last long there because I had too much fun as a 22-year-old girl on a tropical island in the middle of the South Pacific. Tell everyone that, take that first job seriously. But from there, went to Knoxville, covered the SEC, covered Peyton Manning's final year at the University of Tennessee, covered the Tennessee Vols winning the football national championship the following year with T. Martin at quarterback, covered the Lady Vols winning the national championship during the late great Pat Summitt's run. They went 34-0 in 1998. So, I mean, I feel like I covered the heyday of women's basketball. And I feel like it's always been this great era, even before Caitlin Clark. And I know we're seeing a completely different era now. But moved back to Dallas, worked for the Cowboys for 3 years. It was great doing Cowboys TV. Parlayed that into a job as a sports reporter at the ABC station, CBS station, CBS LA. And candidly, FC Dallas was very smart. I worked in this market on air, and I still freelance for the NBC station here. We've got a great partnership with them. But I worked in this market on air for almost 20 years. And frankly, didn't cover a lot of FC Dallas. I may have done 3 interviews my entire time on the air, and I hosted an hour-long sports talk show. Yeah. You know, I mean, so there's a lot of opportunity there. So to FC Dallas's credit, they reached out to me. I was doing some freelance work for them, doing some live streams and basically video blogging and doing some pregame shows for them. They reached out to me and said, look, we understand we have an opportunity to raise our relevance in the market, and we think you can help us do that. And I did not play soccer, played basketball, played volleyball, ran track, you know, and in Dallas, you know, you're born with an NFL playbook, you know, in your swaddle as a baby I grew up a Cowboys fan, you know, I had the Doomsday Defense poster next to my bed as a little girl, but had to learn a lot about the sport, and we're always still learning, right? We're always learning. But I certainly understood the media landscape in Dallas and was able to form some really good partnerships, understand what kind of stories resonated with what media outlets would be receptive to them, understood how to pitch national media, understood how to form unique partnerships with TV stations across the state of Texas in order to get FC Dallas matches. Back when we were on local TV in their markets, we were on TV in Wichita Falls, Abilene, Waco for a season, Tyler for a long stretch before we all went to Apple TV. So really was able to learn a lot about the sport, learn a lot about the business of the sport, which is very different from covering sports. You know, covering sports, you get to talk about the game, which is so fun. But there's a whole other aspect to this thing that is completely different. So learned a lot about that. And really am so thankful that I had all of those opportunities to grow, learn on the job. And that's kind of led me to where we are today.
That's so sick.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, especially for a lot of folks in Austin who are just getting into soccer, who've been into sports for so long, but who are just getting into soccer with Austin FC being a new team. It's so inspiring to hear the way that your journey progressed, and that, like, yeah, we're all always going to be still learning, even the sports that we love. There's always going to be something new. And MLS loves changing the rules enough to keep us all on our toes.
Mid-season, let's do a rule change. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Not
yeah.
the first, it won't be the last, right?
No,
Like,
exactly, exactly. And you bring up a great point. And soccer is so welcoming to people who want
Mhm.
to embrace the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. And for anybody who may not be welcoming, I would say just open fans with open arms and be open to the questions they ask and the mistakes they might make, but celebrate with them, chest bump them, have a beer, and just go have fun, because there's no experience like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Gina, thank you so much for the time today. Can you let everyone know where to find and follow your work?
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Well, certainly you can connect with us at fcdallas.com on every single platform. You can just follow me. I'm at the Gina Miller on every single platform. So you can connect with me anywhere, and feel free to reach out any other time if we that third game against Austin, if you need me to come back and we need to revisit some of the things that we said here today, I'm happy to do so. I really appreciate, again, what you guys are doing, reaching out to people across Major League Soccer. I don't think people understand how difficult it can be to host a podcast, produce a podcast, secure guests for a podcast, and have knowledge about your guests and the opposing teams and do all these things out of a passion for the game, but a real vested interest to help grow the sport. It's really great work you guys are doing, and I hope people recognize that.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. We are really looking forward to this weekend, and for all of our sakes, may Copa Tejas live long and prosper. I don't know.
I agree.
We're
agree.
inspired by Star Wars now.
Exactly. May the fourth be with you. Okay,
You just
guys.
triggered so many
The
people.
drone shows living in my head. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you.
Once again, we just want to thank Gina so much for her time and sharing her story. It was so good. Steph, I do want to make an apology
To me?
to everyone.
Oh.
So our last Swoon Tower opponent spotlight, I had confused a roof and a ceiling, and I think that's where we got mixed up.
Yeah, we shared out in Slack a couple photos of the tarps that go up over, and I think we all kind of assumed they were like laying flat over the seat instead of jutting out into
Extending
the
out.
middle of the, yeah.
Yeah, and so what I
It's
did...
really cool.
It's super cool. And what I did is I looked up the definition of a roof and the definition of a ceiling, and a roof is the outside part and the ceiling is the inside part. And I think that's...
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Joke's on me.
Joke is on you.
And also, I shared that moment of vulnerability so that you could also share your moment of vulnerability.
My moment of vulnerability is that I want to talk about this Matchscot. Apparently, Live Long and Prosper is Star Trek and not Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Nerds.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have seen both of them. Not all of both. I love.
We're going to talk about...
Talking about stars. I just want to talk about stars.
I see what you're doing. What a great
Thank you.
What a great segue.
Just let me do my segue. Jeez. We got to talk to Astrology Girlie, who is, first of all, adopted. So congratulations, Astrology Girlie. I'm so happy for your new parents because we love you. Okay, hi, Astrology Girlie. We're going to ask you some questions, okay?
All right, the first question I have, as a progressive Aquarius, we want to know, is now the season for unification?
Good answer.
Yeah, we think so too.
Okay, Astrology Girlie, we know that you're an Aquarius. Who on Austin FC, what sign is your perfect match? We're going to tell that to all the potential adopters out there. Okay, can we get Listos Verde? Thank you.
So
This
cute.
dog. Oh,
So soft.
so soft, so skin foldy, droopy.
Oh.
Ugh, what an angel.
And a great guest.
Yes. Yeah, really good. I mean, she was chomping on that microphone.
She had a lot to say.
She did have a lot to say.
And it was all good.
I wish we could have adopted Astrology Girlie.
One day. One day we'll go back in time and adopt Astrology Girlie.
Okay.
That's a different space story.
SWOONTOWER Soccer is brought to you by our friends at FVF Law, the official injury lawyers of Austin FC.
FVF is a different kind of personal injury law firm dedicated to community, transparency, and client education. And they have their own podcast called Summary Judgment. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
You can go to FVF.law and find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm and why understanding your legal options can dramatically change the outcome of a case.
Our premier sponsor is McGuire Woods Consulting, helping clients in the public affairs space from lobbying at the local, statewide, and federal levels to digital and communications campaigns across the country.
McGuire Woods Consulting has offices in 10 MLS cities, but only advertises on this podcast because it's the home of the two-time reigning Copa Tejas champions, which is the most important trophy in professional sports. Contact our friends at McGuire Woods Consulting at www.mwcllc.com for more information.
All right, Steph, I want to talk now about these LA fits.
Oh, yes, please.
So I feel immediately, my knee-jerk reaction is that it was casual Saturday at the office, but no one told Emmy.
Oh, no.
Like, as we look across this, everybody's in t-shirts and jeans, and Emmy's putting on his suit coat.
I think, here's the thing. The day wears on, you've had some lunch, it's a night game, you're a little, like, dready of it.
But it's not. It was a day game.
Can you let me finish? The day goes on, you've eaten some lunch, you're a little sleepy, you're a little dready for the game, and you just, like, want to put on something comfortable. For a day game, you're
see.
up, you had some oatmeal, you've got your mate, you're ready to go. You are ready to put on your suit and get to the stadium. That's what I think Emmy is feeling on this day game. I think everyone else just kind of rolled out of bed, ready to go. They put on their tees and their jeans, but like Emmy's a morning person.
Ooh.
That's what I'm learning from this.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I just assumed, I don't know. I assumed
You assumed
everybody
ill intent from all the other players?
Yeah, I assumed everybody else was on a text thread, but not him. And then you've got the like Jossie in the ultimate like barbecue dad vibes.
I love this shirt on Jossie. Jossie is my winner for this set.
Really?
This shirt on Jossie, this like peach and white and purple pink floral maybe.
It's like
patterned button up. Oh, love it.
Yeah, it's like a USMNT rejected jersey design.
The face that Jossie is making in this photo is the face I'm making at you right now.
I do think it's probably the best fit of the bunch this week, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Although you did have a note here about these fit checks.
Yeah, before I get there, I do want to talk about John Gallagher, who finally has been featured in the fit checks photos. He's definitely going for a day on the links. He's not going to play soccer. He is straight up golfing. But congratulations, Gally, for getting your picture in the series.
back on the fit check train.
Yep. No, so the video that they posted has obviously the same as they do, all of the players walking in. My favorite part is, it makes me laugh every time it loops back, is when they get to Seba, they do this little like slow-mo moment where he like brushes off his shirt and then the whole rest of the thing is all in fast mo, but
fast mo?
It's a regular mo. But it just like is so funny. It's so like, our media team is unmatched.
They're so good.
They're so good.
All right. We didn't obviously get fits for Vancouver.
No.
But we did get a little bit of insight.
A little hair sight.
Yep. Ethan Finley got a cool guy haircut.
Yeah.
Seba got a cool guy haircut.
I know you're super sad about it, but
I'm
like
so
I think
sad.
he looks so good. I love the short hair. I think it looks so clean.
I already miss emo Sebastian Driussi so much.
Well,
I'm using my platform to express it.
okay.
And
I'm proud of you.
the other thing that we noticed is that Panera's back.
Panera is back, my babes. I want to know what was in everybody's Panera box. Do they get, actually, I do want to know this. Do they get to like put in their order, or does Panera say you can have 2 bacon turkey avocado clubs, bacon turkey bravo? That's the name of a sandwich at Panera. Or like, Diego Rubio wants a green goddess salad, or Julio wants mac and cheese in a bread bowl because he's the best and it's the best. What do their orders look like? What does the ordering process look like? Does someone come around with a little checklist when they, like at practice, they're getting their haircuts and they put in their Panera order to take on the plane? Or does Panera just like give them a bunch of stuff and hope that they eat it?
I think everybody gets a you pick 2. And so I think everybody gets either a cup of soup or mac, half a salad, or half a sandwich, and you choose one of the 3.
But you get to
they
get to pick.
I think so.
Okay.
And then I think anyone who chooses from their free sides, anyone that chooses an apple gets made fun of on the plane.
Who do you think chooses an apple? I have a guess.
Ethan.
I was gonna say Ethan and Jossie. Hector gets the bread because he wants the chips, but he knows that is the least healthy of the options. So he's going to go the side of baguette.
Yeah. I think that's fair because he doesn't get the sandwich. He goes with the cup of soup and half a salad.
Yeah.
And then this is so stupid. I love it.
All right. So let's, you ready to talk about our match moods?
Yes.
Cool. We've got some decent moods happening, especially from LA Galaxy.
Yeah. So I know I got to, first off, I want to thank my Moontower dads for letting me talk about the LA Galaxy match in detail on the regular Moontower feed last week. I was nervous before the game that I would have to talk about that game, and then I was excited that I got to talk about that game.
Yeah.
And on that episode, I talked about the Diego Rubio hat trick.
Yeah.
Which we have coined as being a goal. He draws a yellow card from the other team, and then he commits a yellow card worthy foul. And Diego Rubio did that in the first 10 minutes of this LA match, which meant everything else that he did through the rest of the match was just cherry on top.
Gravy.
Yeah. Man, what a great guy.
Yeah. This was a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, the level of fight that our boys had, and we're not going to talk too much about the actual game, but like, I just want to say on air, on the record, how impressed I was at the level of fight that they had in every single moment.
Yeah, it was so fun, so exciting, and one of the notes that I have from inside the game was Alex and Danny need to hug. Mm-hmm. Wait, Emmy and Alex need to hug. Wait, maybe Alex just needs a hug.
I do think Alex Ring needs a hug, and I am more than willing to give it to him.
He was spicy.
Yeah.
That whole match played out of his mind, looked great on the field, and so like he earned it.
Yep. Speaking of spicy.
Ooh, yeah.
Best part at the end of the match.
Yeah, so John Gallagher right at the end of the match reached out to tell Ricky Puig, hey, great game. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for leaving your points with us. He puts his hand out, and Ricky Puig storms past him, ignoring his hand. And so Gallagher turned around and goes, okay, bye-bye, bye-bye, and starts waving at him like big waves.
Oh, it was so good.
Everyone saw.
Yeah, everyone did see. It was rad.
Yeah.
And then something that we saw, because again, our media team is top notch. In the post-game ball speech, we had Diego, and I know you talked about this a little bit on Moontower, but we had an interesting choice of words from him.
Yeah.
What's your read on that being translation or loaded?
I mean, I think Diego's grasp of the English language is really good, and I think
I've just never heard that phrasing.
Yeah, an honest group of guys.
The most honest group of guys.
Yeah.
It just seems so like...
So what?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm looking at you.
Yeah. He has. I think he knows that he can play with that word a little bit when he uses it. I think he knows what he's doing.
Okay.
And
I like that.
Yeah, I liked the speech. I liked the intent behind it. I liked that he got the game ball.
Me too. Everything that I've seen from Diego Rubio, I've enjoyed, but this game like blew it out of the water.
Yeah. You want to move to the Pacific Northwest?
I mean, I guess. Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I ate a horchata gelato, and apparently horchata has almonds in it, and I didn't know that. So I spent the entire Vancouver match asleep from Benadryl.
Yeah. For the folks listening at home, Steph is deathly allergic to almonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I
did wake up at like 1 a.m., real groggy, checked the score immediately, saw that we drew. I was very happy with that.
Yeah. I also was very happy with it, but only once I realized what the plan was. I had a very difficult first probably 45 to 60 minutes of that match.
Sure.
Until I realized the point was get up there, take a couple of chances, get home, steal a point.
Yeah.
Maybe steal 3 if those chances pan out.
Yeah.
And so seeing it play out that way made me really excited. And yeah, I thought the team was gutsy. I thought they were efficient. I didn't love giving the ball away so much in places where we could have kept it. But,
yeah,
ultimately, I was very glad to come home with a win.
Yeah.
I mean, a draw.
Yeah.
A draw that felt like a win because everyone said we were going to lose this game.
Exactly. We did get a really fun note, a SWOONTOWER note from our dad, Landon, who texted us and said that Brian White looks like the jerk boyfriend from an 80s movie.
Yeah, and so we ran a couple of bits off of that, mostly around me talking about what kind of cars he would have driven. If anyone is interested, let us know. We can redo those bits.
They'll be just as funny the second time.
They might be funnier now that I've explained them.
Celly ratings. We had 2 from LA. I want you to talk about the first one because I want to talk about the second one.
Wow. All right. The first one was a Diego Rubio goal where after getting up from falling down, taking the shot, he runs over to the corner flag and puts his hands in his ears doing the signature move. He, gets swarmed by his entire team. Everyone's all over him, loving on him. There's a little kiss. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, Celly.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 for this one. And I think a lot of that comes from there's a specific photo of Sebastian Driussi, like, basically leapfrogging.
Yep.
Like, in the middle of jumping up on his shoulders. And I really liked that.
Yeah, I like that he ran to the corner where the LA Galaxy fans were. And so I still am only going to give this a 7. But I thought it was a good Celly.
Okay, and then Jader Obrian tried to do a knee slide. Y'all know how much I love a knee slide. I think I love it more if 2 feet into it, you fall on your face.
Really? You are happier with this Celly than
Oh my God, it was so funny.
So here's my take on the knee slide that... I was dissecting it in the moment. Obviously, I pulled up the teleprompter. I was drawing my little circles. The thing for me with Obrian's knee slide, and I think this is the thing that people get wrong a lot with a knee slide, is that he takes these big, long strides. Instead of like powering as fast as he can to like gain as much speed as possible, he's trying to like ease into it a little bit. And I think that's where he gets his problem is like he's not running fast enough to really get that travel on the slide.
Yeah, it fell short.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
My note on this was failed knee slide into airplane / penguin thing.
I just love how he just stayed there. Like, this was totally on purpose. Nobody look at me.
Yeah. Uh-oh, the camera's on.
Oh, I loved it. What's your rating?
6.5.
Wow.
Look, I'm just saying, degree of difficulty, high. Execution, low.
Knee slide, high. Social media standouts.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah. The Galaxy story of the match, we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, content team for the win. But I really loved in the pre-match like huddle, Alex Ring had them do win on 3. And that's exactly the energy that I love to see. And I don't know if that's what they do every time. I haven't really picked up on it. It is?
It is.
Oh, well, I like it. And they did it.
Yeah.
So good job.
My next social media standout is also from the club directly. This was on Twitter. Immediately after winning the match, it's just pictures of the players and their families, and it's so cute.
Seba's little boy, little old man.
Yeah, with his dad hat on.
Oh my God.
So cute. Alex celebrating his man of the match performance with his daughter. So cute.
Oh, I will get to the next one, but I did want to say like one of my favorite things about that match, and I think someone got a photo of it in the LV Slack, but was one of Giassi's kids who went to the man of the match drum and like sidled up to it real slow.
The littlest one, yeah.
Real slow. Just like kept looking at it, looking around, looking at it, sneaking up to it, and then just so gently puts his hand on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it was so cute.
Super cute. I did love Jossie's kid wearing his jersey backwards so that he could show off his dad's last name all the time.
Yep.
I thought that was really, really, really cute.
Yeah. And then Biru and his little one.
Always smiling.
That's one of my notes. One of my other social notes is that every training picture of Biru, he's so happy. He looks just so happy to be playing soccer. And I love that. Yeah,
I think he's been such a great addition to the squad in the vibes and in his ability to play.
Yeah. Another note on kids. Julio shared a video of his kid singing "All right, all right, all right," like over and over and over and over, and it was the most wholesome, sweetest little thing. There's something about like tiny little kid voices, and we see this at the FCDO games all the time when the kids are leading the chants. Like there's something so just
pure,
beautiful and pure about that.
Yeah. My one note that I didn't have that made it now into the show is Hector had also shared a video of Mateo going down the sidelines after the win, giving high fives to everybody. And his caption was, he thinks they're here for him. And so he's reaching out for markers to sign autographs and stuff. Like, it's so cute. He's dapping up everybody. Like, so adorable.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
If y'all don't follow all of the dads on the team, you're missing some prime kid content.
Yeah. Ooh, Ethan Finley's daughter's birthday was a couple weekends ago or last weekend. I don't know what time it is. And he was wearing a shirt that said "Girl Dad" on it, and I loved that.
Yeah, having a girl dad for a dad, you would.
Yeah, it was just so cute.
It's so cute. On a bit more
bigger
family. Yeah. That's a good trend. That's a good transition. I want to talk about Danny's passport journey over the past week. I know in Vancouver we really missed his play, but I'm just so happy for him to have all of this legalese like behind him, be able to focus again, and be able to like actually go play with his national team whenever they need him. It's just it must be such a big weight off his chest, and I'm just so happy.
And just like seeing the joy of the pictures of him being back in Venezuela, like it just was really nice to see that. And I think he probably needed it. Who wouldn't, right?
Yeah. The caption on his like photo dump for it is just so touching and so great piece of social media work this week.
Yeah.
From Danny.
All right. The last great piece of work on my social standouts is Seba got all of the players beats, and the note said, "No single player is as good as all of us together." And it just, especially coming from him, the best one. You know, it just was so, I don't know. I just love it. I love seeing that gesture, and I love seeing the team mentality coming from him.
Yeah, it's captain stuff.
Yeah. And then CJ wearing them out onto the field in the pre-match photos for Vancouver.
Adorable.
Yeah.
To be fair, they're probably the best headphones CJ's ever had.
Yeah, CJ definitely is not out buying Beats. Yeah. We had some good wholesome moments this week, this session.
This was a good couple of weeks for us. Hopefully we have a good couple of weeks going forward here. We're going to see.
Yeah. Before I get into the man of my jersey, I do want to shout out Brad Stuver, absolute king of our hearts and of our field. Congrats on making MLS Team of the Week. Finally. We're pulling for that MLS All-Star spot.
Yeah, tell all your friends. Brad Stuver's been the best keeper in the league for 4 years straight, and now it's about time he gets some flowers for it. So vote Stuver. Hashtag Stuver for president, but also MLS All-Star. It's a long hashtag, but it'll work.
All right. This week, the man of my jersey is Diego Rubio. I smile so much watching him play soccer. I was screaming when it was Diego on Diego in the Galaxy match. There was just so much like needling from both of them. And Diego just has such a fight to him. And then he'll like get up and laugh it off. And I think that energy is so important for us. He fills that void that we really just don't have from anyone else. Because I think Alex, you look at Alex and you say he needs a hug. You look at Diego and you're like, no, he's okay. He's just doing that on purpose. And I think that energy is incredible and I love it.
It's a great choice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess next week we will have a Houston preview, hopefully. Steph and I are going out of the country, and so we will be recording it from London.
Yeah, so if there isn't one, please forgive us.
Yeah, but we do love you.
We do love you.
Bye.
Goodbye.